Alrighty, ladies, gentlemen, everything in between. We are finally here for the last round of the ARC Indycar Championship. Laguna Seca will play host to tonight's three-car championship warfare. As, the defending champ has an okay chance, but all it takes is the podium finish to lock it away for somebody else. Luis Ramirez is off the racetrack. Oh my word. That was nearly a destroyed race car, which would have been probably a record time for quickest elimination of a vehicle. Not literally eliminated, but wreck. Remove tire percent. Qualifying has just begun. We're looking at Luis Ramirez as he heads to the final turn to begin the first time lap of the day. We had a very interesting outcome from Sonoma that's actually left us with a championship opportunity for 3 drivers instead of just 1. It would not be a stretch to say that without their the contact made at Sonoma at the carousel, around goes Luis Ramirez. It would be no exaggeration to say that without that contact being made, there would be no championship battle today. After Ramirez's spin, I don't know who's the furthest along their hot lap, so we'll just ride on board with one of our championship protagonists, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. After his surprise victory, he has a distant shot at winning the championship, but taking the corkscrew like that's not going to get him one. Gabe just got his lap time validated 6 separate times. Just gotta rub it in there, huh, game? Final corner, we'll see if this is even a lap at all, or if this was an out lap. It was a lap, a 108.6. First lap of the day is pretty decent, I would say. Rhymes. Philadelphia being 110.3, can't even get anywhere near. No, AJ has been invalidated. The track limits are getting everybody, as apparently. Looks like Jurgensmeyer may have to deal with some traffic. Some traffic? How you a lap down in qualifying me? That's not how this works. Gabe Cazzola might be in the way. He does get out of the way, as I believe he is just on an out lap. Using all of the road's width through the penultimate turn. Into late apex at the last turn. Let's see if this is any improvement for the 18 car. Finds 3/10 down to an 8.2. Pulled by Miles, but that's also because neither of the other heavy hitters have completed a full lap yet. Here comes Dylan Bam, final turn, and we'll see if he has any offering to that 8.2. Yeah, a 106.7, a second and a half quicker than Jurg, takes out a braking marker. But he's around, so perhaps maybe a bit of sensitivity in the setup. Don't want to show your weakness too early. And don't want to spin out in qualifying, obviously. AJ, I believe that was an out lap. So 15.7 is, I would certainly hope, not representative. Full throttle through turn 4. That's not really something you can usually do. Oh my god. As you know, I run plenty of laps of testing myself just to see what the track is like and understand what the drivers are experiencing as they lap the track, but I don't think anything could prepare me. None of that is even remotely close to the vehicle that AJ is piloting at the moment. I could just tell you from the apex speeds, along with everything else. Final turn for the 6 car, who's seeking, what was it, an 8th championship? And a lap time like that is going to help. Beats his teammate to the punch by 0.03 of a second. 106.76, but here comes said opponent. DIVEBOMB back up to the start-finish line. We'll see if that's an improvement. It is a not lap. Okay, never mind. And Jurgensmeyer, he's got some digging to do. Either dig for more lap time or dig a grave, the way things are looking at the moment. He's got Kyler Boggs, who's going to definitely get in the way as he's on his own lap, so he doesn't... Yeah, Jerk just going to accept that loss. Fidel Fabian finds a 108 flat on what I do believe might be a default setup, unless he has taken Jerg's. Which is sort of ironic if that is the case, considering Jerg's own fate for season... Well, the next Project Cars 2 season, the 6-1 there threw me off. The next P Cars 2 season where Jurgensmeyer will be going to 44R, joining the team of one of his two championship rivals, and being in an alliance with the third driver in that battle. So it'll be interesting, and I say interesting with a couple of asterisks, I must be honest. DIVEBOMB when they 106.5. I forgot he was on a lap. I'm dumb. Jumps 0.2 over AJ. We're winding down the minutes here on this quali session. You get a lot of laps in this. Is a Suzuka? Really? Oh look, there's a left-hand kink. We must be at Suzuka. No. We are a long way. Suzuka's not even technically on this game. It's Sakito. What was I saying now before I got geographically lost? It'll be interesting to see how that basically super team pans out in the coming championships in Project Cars. Jurgensmeyer, Knickel, and BAM all working under the same umbrella. I hate to be a stickler, but that's gonna make things very one-sided. This 44R Champ Inc. dominance could be bad for the sport. DIVEBOMB his session is done. He's just sitting in the pits. He's more than okay with his lap time, apparently. But we've already seen that AJ Knickel can get pretty close to it. He only needs to find about 1/4 of a second. But Fabian is going to have to live with his 108 flat. And that's not enough. Jerk finds a half a second, 107.7, but that still is not even in the ballpark of the top two. A second off. AJ Knickel is off the track. His qualifying lap is toast. So it's down to Jurg, and he's not looking great based on that delta. 0.06 down, I believe that was. And he's in the sand, so that lap is probably about over. But he's still pushing it, and I can tell, yeah, he lost some time there on the previous lap just based on apex speeds. But even gaining time through there, he lost all of it because he missed the corner beforehand, and he gets very sideways at the corkscrew. I think this one is done and dusted as well. Other cars that are currently making their way around. Kyler Boggs off the track, hitting the wall, looking cool. Is somewhere, I don't know. And Jurgensmeyer crosses, he's blooding off. The lap is nothing. There is no lap. and the qualifying session has concluded with that. So, our 3 championship protagonists qualify in the order they stand. And now remains to be seen, well, what effect that has from here. Whilst the standings are going on, or standings, what? While the strategy changes are going on, the full rundown of this relatively small grid, you know, end of championship woes and all of that. A lot of people are not showing up simply because they have nothing to gain. Dylan Bam is your pole sitter. AJ Knickel, P2. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in P3. Fidel Fabian with another immense qualifying session starts P4. We'll see if he can actually convert something off of it this time around. He's had good qualifying all season, but he's often failed to convert that into anything meaningful points-wise. Jamie Wright, 5th. Matty Daly, 6th. Kyler Boggs, 7th. Gabe Kazilla in 8th. Logan Cool in 9th. And Luis Ramirez rounds out the grid. Actually, he's not on the grid. And he has dragged Matty Daly with him, so that's probably going to be a lobby reset, I imagine. Because, of course it is. We always have at least one lobby problem in this game. Yep. Alright, once more with feeling. Now I take the time we were resetting to preserve my voice, because goodness knows I love taxing it too much. That's what happens when the job of talking for an hour and a half and having to sound even vaguely excited, which I still sometimes struggle to do, does take some toll on somebody with asthma. Especially when I live in a house with somebody who spends half the day smoking cigarettes upstairs. So, it's not next to me, but secondhand smoke can still sometimes get down here. Now there's not even a point in running through the grid order. I mean, I already did, but even if I didn't, I can't do it right now, because I can assure you Logan Cool is not on pole. We've not had a grid flip, because that's how he usually starts first. We're not doing any of that. Nice reverse, Fidel. At least with only 10 cars, it shouldn't be too difficult to orchestrate this arrangement and get everybody in their correct order. Yep, see, it's already in the correct order. We haven't even reached Sector 2 yet. Yeah, so the basic computations, they're relatively simple when laid out. Dylan Bam only needs a podium. If he can get third place, the championship is locked up. If he fails that, AJ can win the race and the title. And if Dylan falls all the way to below 5th place, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer can win the race and the championship. It really is much simpler than usual. It just kind of relies on how badly does Dylan throw the bag. Or fumble the bag, throw the bag. And AJ's trying to... Are we doubling up here, or is... I guess we are. Cowards! We should have done a 3-wide start. This is Indy, obviously. And we are green from Laguna Seca. The championship finale is underway. AJ Knickel was absolutely caught sleeping at the wheel, and Jurgensmeyer is looking set to grab 2nd place from him. I think there was contact there. It looked like Jurg maybe locked the brakes up heading into the Andretti hairpin. AJ is about given space, and he manages to shoot his way back into 2nd. Fidel Fabian narrowly managing, actually not managing to save the car, and destroying multiple others by spinning right across the racetrack. Wing bits sent everywhere. A missing tire as well. I don't know. I can't seem to figure out whose car that was from. Of course. Looks like... Oh, it is Gabe Cazzola. I probably should have just defaulted to looking at who was in last. But however, that's a front tire, so it won't be too difficult to limp back to pit lane, especially when we're already under a safety car. One coughing fit later. I guess it's better now than while the race is going on, rather than just a safety car. The back 3 have to pit. It seems everybody else escaped it, but I mean, all it takes is 2, really. They say it takes 2 to make a thing go right, but not here. It took 3 to go horribly wrong for Fidel Fabian, who, I mean, I pretty much... Somebody pick up the phone, because, man, I called it. Great qualifying, can't seem to convert, and doing that 3 corners into the race is symbolic thereof. Actually, never mind. The back two will absolutely not be here in time. So I guess we're going another lap. Another lay? What? Lay what? English striker? Come on. And Gabe Casola hasn't even left his box yet. He's been in there for a whole lap. He's just now moving. I think that's a pit lane violation driving through that many pit stalls, but... Gabe might be getting put one down. No, he's gonna narrowly escape getting put a lap down. I don't know if he's gonna get back around in just this lap. He might might take him too long to get back around. I woke up too early and I'm trying to fight off drowsiness whenever there's not action, and so of course, knowing that I'd be contending with attempting to not yawn, we immediately start the race by having 4 laps of safety cars. Since lap 1 was a controlled start, we got 3 corners into the first green flag lap before it was no longer a green flag run. And I don't even know if we'll be going green on this time, unless, well, now Dylan, I think, is being told to slow down so that we can go green this time. We've done how many races, and that's the first time I've seen that Huntington logo on the 6 car. 17 races later, and that's the first time I've noticed that. Yeah, things to watch when we actually get into the race. Definitely unexpected sends into, well, basically the first corner, the last corner, and the corkscrew. Cars with suboptimal suspension setups actually can get hang time off the corkscrew, I should know. And probably a lot of drivers missing the kink, I would have to guess. Pretty easy to overestimate the aero of this car and just kinda helplessly slide off the track there. You can do that anywhere if you're bad enough, but it's very easy to do it there, and a lot of people do it. And we are once again green from Laguna Seca. This time, due to a single file restart, AJ is much more safe. As a matter of fact, he's actually closing in. Down the inside goes Kyler Boggs. The brake markers are scattered. Kyler Boggs with an opportunistic but clean and effective send on Jamie Wright gets him to 4th place. The top 3 are as they were, but AJ Knickel is right there on the back of Dylan, while Jurgensmeyer is under a little bit of threat. And speaking of threat, Jamie Wright tries the outside around Kyler Boggs. Eye for an eye, I guess. Give me that back, says Jamie Wright. There's Kyler missing that kink, not by much, but by just enough for Matty Daly to be enticed, but he elects to wait. Sideways, Luis Ramirez absolutely botches the corkscrew, and that takes a wheel off Matthew Daly's car and off of Ramirez's own car. Why can't I get to Ramirez? There we go. That's not Ramirez, that's Matthew Riker. And I believe that is a rear tire, and, oh yeah, that's, I think, it's 2 tires, so that's a DNF for Matthew Daly. Ramirez, meanwhile, hardly even looks like he's got a scratch on his car. But obviously that's not true. We got further, we got through a lap, and then I'm only guessing I'm only guessing and / assuming that Luis Ramirez probably locked the brakes or has the brake bias set too far backward, and the rear escaped off throttle. And at that point, you're a passenger, and no amount of Basically anything will save you, or whoever happens to be in front of you. Why am I in chase cam still? Ugh. Other than making talking awkward to do. My wisdom tooth is coming in, and as I slept last night, it clearly just ground the side of my mouth to dust. And so there's just a very bad sore area on the inner part of my right cheek, and it reacts every time I open my mouth too much. I can just about talk, but if I have to cough or yawn or anything else that requires my jaw to be suddenly opened a lot, it is unpleasant. And we'll see if we have any early pit stops in motion here. Other than, Gabe Kazilla elects to make the turn. Logan Cool will follow him in. I think that's the 61. So some folks are playing. Yep, there it is again. Some folks are playing the long game here. I have been told that tire wear can be a little bit of bad here. A little bit of bad, yep. It's like my English, apparently. Reportedly, alternates can really only last you 10 laps. And they'll go off after 6 of those. Primaries, didn't really get any, what's the word? Any concrete information on those, but I'd probably have to guess they can probably do 30, and they probably start to lose pace after about 22, 23 of them. And because they were, well, maybe not scheduled, but they were just routine service, Cazzola and Cool's pit stops were considerably faster than the previous cautions pit stops that were instigated by car damage. Luis got his pit stop done the exact lap the crash happened, so we had time to go back up there before we even got to the second lap of the caution. Plus, I don't know how bad his damage really was. It doesn't seem to have been that much. He did mostly make contact with parts of his car that you can very easily just not even hurt. Like, in most cases, on pretty much every game I can think of that has car damage, if you hit somebody with the side of your car, or hits anything with it, the side of your car, you're probably fine. Just don't hit the front or back. And any second now, Dylan Bam gasses it up. We are green the third time. Let's see if we can actually get a green flag running here. We've cut one car off the field. That is Matty Daly. Ooh, nearly big contact at the braking zone. Jamie Wright is going to get a little racy with one of the championship contenders. He's going to try and get around the outside of Jurgensmeyer. No success. Fidel Fabian is trying to find some new racing lines, or was that Kyler Boggs? I'm not sure. Either way, I think it was actually Kyler. It was a blue car, but there are 3 of those. Everybody takes that kink at different speeds. That always causes a bit of a mess. The field immediately rubber banded a tiny bit, as we've only completed one lap on this green flag run. Dylan already has almost over a second and a half over Knickel. Seen some spotty internet from Jurgensmeyer as well. That doesn't bode super well. He could very easily disconnect by the looks of this. And that would obviously end his championship. With or without Dylan placing 5th. Or higher. Oh, we got another tangle. It's again Ramirez, this time with Fidel Fabian at the exit of the kink. But we remain green because that did not deal any major damage. They both still had their wheels attached. Their wheels? Why did I say that way? Okay, Bizzola is forced the long way around against the 61 of Logan Cool. We'll see if he can somehow hack that. I'm gonna go ahead and say no. Oh, but the 61 sideways, that'll certainly help. A bit of netcode, I think, and that has defeated Gabe Bizzola right there. Jamie Wright made a mistake, and he's rejoined the circuit up ahead. He was running just behind Jurgensmeyer. I almost called him Jurger. No. Hamburger. I don't know. Logan's car is really not responding well to his own inputs. And that's just making things even more dangerous for Cazzola, who had a run coming out of the kink, but it dissipates. Logan moves under braking like crazy, and that still is not deterring that 9 car. He's going to try the outside of the downhill left. And, oh! And that has taken Gabe's wheel straight off. Logan understeered into him. Gabe's missing the wheel, and we'll see if that's cause for a safety car, or if we've just relabeled it as Gabe is close enough to pit lane that it doesn't affect anything. Logan Cool continues onwards, so that contact must not have dealt too much damage to his own machine, but that is indeed considered a caution flag. Gabe will obviously pit now because he doesn't really have a choice. He's missing the left front tire. And now we have our 3rd caution, not even a quarter of the way into the race. AJ Knickel elects to pit. His teammate Kyler Boggs will join him on pit lane. Jurg stays out, though. He's probably trying to abuse track position and see if he can get another Sonoma to happen. I don't know if Dylan and AJ are going to fall for that twice, though. I'll be surprised if Dylan's not trying to survive as long as possible. Especially when we haven't exactly had many green flag laps with which to wear out the tires. I don't know if he's actually on alternates. After all, the current tire does not sync with broadcast or replay cameras. So it'll look like everybody is on the reds when that's not true, I would have to guess. I'm sure some are, but not everybody. Gabe apparently wrecked his car on the way round after pitting, so that's a new one. I don't know how you did that. But that's going to extend this caution period, I reckon. Well, Dylan shifted out of 6th gear, so we must be going green this time with or without Cazzola. It doesn't make sense, considering the second instance of damage was self-inflicted. And any moment now, the gas pedal is forward, green flag back in the air for a 4th attempt at a green flag run. Kyler Boggs catches Logan Cool sleeping. AJ Kanuka will do the same thing. Kyler knows his teammates in a championship battle. He doesn't even put much resistance up against him as we head through Andretti. Jurgensmeyer put up some, but AJ's just so much more confident heading towards turn 3 that it really didn't matter. I'm too busy yawning. I'm like trying to say something, but my brain's just not firing up right now. Fidel Fabian spun at the kink, and I saw the Ramirez was off to the side, but I don't know if those are connected. It's hard to tell directly. Dylan has not made that much of a lead, in spite of AJ having some obstacles to navigate to get to P2. He's not really made a breakaway like I had expected him to. Better tires probably assisting AJ Knickel in this endeavor, as he is running him down here through the first sector of the track, little by little. Or at least he was. And then Dylan had a better turn 4 math. The way I see it is, Andretti hairpin is turn 1, and then you have the little slight right, that's 2, then you have 3, and then 4. 5, the kink is 6, corkscrew is 7 and 8, that was 9, here's 10, and the last turn is 11. And AJ is right there now. Dylan has got to be feeling his presence. I would say we have another case of Jamie Wright running right on the back of Jurg. Nope, this time he's going to go ahead of Jurgensmeyer. Out-drags him on the front straightaway. Jurg clearly has some pretty high wings on that car, or something. We've consistently been seeing him get outclassed on straightaways of all sorts and sizes this race. And while normally having high downforce at Laguna Seca is kind of the play, but I guess just not today, or at least not for Jurgensmeyer, because it's been nothing but a hindrance to him. Gabe Gizzle was disconnected from the race. That may have been intentional, and I wouldn't really be surprised if it was. AJ Knickel is right there. The position is there for the taking, but I don't know how badly he's going to try for it at this moment. We're only just a little ways past half distance. What? Where? You wish, Raker. We're just a little ways past 1/3 distance. I don't know if AJ necessarily sees a point in fighting for the lead already. I mean, I certainly do, but I'm also just the commentator, so... Oh, well, when Dylan misses the kink, I did say that exact thing could happen. And now AJ doesn't even have to think about it, because he has gained the lead just by way of staying on the asphalt. That spin almost put him back in range of Jorgensmeyer, but he's not quite that far off. He lost about 5 seconds to Knickel from that mistake. Oh, I look away for 3 seconds. I thought I heard some noise somewhere in the house, and Jamie Wright has spun the car. So we're pretty much back to the qualifying order, except Ramirez is a couple places ahead of where you started. And Matthew Daly and Gabe are out of the race. He himself runs wide at the kink. We're seeing that a lot. I mean, I said that. I absolutely did say that, so... I don't know why I continue to act surprised, like, oh, somebody's off the kink. Yeah, that's probably the hardest corner on the track in this game. Beginning to imagine that Dylan might be on the hards. His lap times aren't falling off a whole lot. Meanwhile, AJ's somewhat are. But it would sort of also tend to explain how AJ Knickel ran Dylan down with such ease. They're probably not even on the same tires. Just interesting, because that means that the two of them are on different tire strategies despite being in an alliance together. Didn't expect the field to get this spread out at this track of all places. Bam is taking slight bites out of AJ Knickel's lead. Again, his tires aren't showing any immediate signs of wear, as he's been on them for the whole race, so they have to be primary tires. Although, that was not his best work there. Only gained 400ths on Knickel on that lap in particular. But also... Ugh. Yeah, that terrible sleep is... It's currently... It's catching up. And it's currently beating me up. Speaking of beating up, Logan Cool has spun around at the exit of turn 4. And he patiently waits for a clear-ish part of track to re-enter. Or he cannot do that because he's in neutral. He is no longer in neutral, and he'll carry on his way. And I was like, did he lose a tire from that? I'm like, what? Go? I don't think he had to wait that long. I guess it doesn't matter. He's already a lap down as it is, but still. I looked down to scratch my head and I heard multiple engines. Oh, Dylan Bam has gained like probably a second on this lap by the looks of it. I had to look down to scratch the top of my head. I just hear multiple car engines and I about lose it because I'm like, wait, who crashed? Nobody yet. Yeah, pulled 8/10 on a nickel there, so I mean, obviously, Dylan could literally just sit right here. He doesn't even have to win the race. Even if AJ beats him, all he needs is a podium to lock away the title. But I know Dylan's not just going to sit there and do nothing. I'm relatively certain that if he sees a chance to win the race, he's grabbing it, even if it slightly risks him not getting a top 3. I mean, he could always try to Ayrton Senna it. Hey, I win the championship if we both DNF, type of thing. Except that's kind of not true, but that's also not the point. Actually, I know, he doesn't want to do that, because if he does that, then Jürgensmeyer wins the title, and that would be hilarious, but also bad. And AJ pulled it back, though, on that lap. He went and probably gained those same 8/10 back on this lap. Just that kind of game of tug-of-war. Yeah, actually, more than that, and he gained 1.2 back on him. In a lap that would have been almost respectable in qualifying, that would have probably put him mid-pack. But we're halfway through the race instead. And I mean, yeah, literally halfway through the race. Oh, Dylan has almost lost it again. He manages to keep the car barely underneath him. Dylan Bam is pitting. His tires have finally given up 22 laps of racing later. I say 22 laps of racing, it's more like 16 laps of racing and like 6 laps of cautions. Jürgensmeyer and Fabian follow him into the pit lane, leaving AJ on his own, basically, for, well, until whatever tires he put on eventually die off. I'm gonna have to probably write my interview questions down. Because if I don't, AJ, I think, may just be covering off Dylan Bam more than anything here. Primary tires to the finish line, probably for most of the cars near the front. I don't see what else you do. We'll see if Dylan Bam has successfully made an undercut to get back ahead of AJ Knickel. This is where we get to crunch time now. We've had the pit cycle. AJ's out of his box, but that corner is slower on the pit lane than taking it on the racetrack. But I don't think it'll be slower enough. Yep, AJ emerges out of pit lane, lost a second to Dylan, I would say, maybe about 2/3 of a second. But still retains the lead, and I don't think it'll take long for his tires to get up to temperature, so once that happens, it'll all be squared out. Ramirez is behind Jurgensmeyer. He has not yet pit. Or if he hasn't, if he has pit, it's been a while. He has also missed the corner, so he is no longer behind Jurg. He is instead under threat from Fidel. Or will be soon, anyway. And Logan has disconnected from the race. I think that might also have been manual. Dylan Bam is within a second now, or thereabouts. As we get near 2/3 of the distance. Fidel obviously made a mistake on some point recently, since he's now several seconds behind Ramirez. Meh. So I'd less call that a retirement and more of a sacrifice. Dylan is just once again playing that vehicular tug of war. He'll gain like 3-4 tenths, but then he'll lose it. There he probably just lost it since he just kicked up some dirt on the exit of the kink. And of course, AJ just recently experienced this track in a separate game, GT7's GT3 League, which was commentated yesterday. Also ran here at Laguna Seca. I was there, as I think we just saw. I think that was either Jamie Wright or that was Kyler Boggs. Yeah, I've been saying that. Dylan could stay right here, but he doesn't. I don't think he will. He'll kind of like make a little peek down the inside, but obviously there was absolutely zero intention there. Other than perhaps mental warfare, I guess. My whole existence is fogged up right now. I really can't explain. I'm surprised I'm forming cohesive sentences right now. I am out of it. And I apologize, that's almost certainly making this a little bit slightly derailed. Just about as excited as I can sound right now, but I'm getting quite a bit of evening drowsiness at the moment. And last ate at... When did I eat? Oh, God. Well, that's probably the problem, actually. The last time I ate was yesterday. I've gone well over... I think I've gone like 16, 17 hours without eating. That is probably why I'm so unalert. I have absolutely zero nutrients or energy in my body. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Didn't want to eat before the race, but I also definitely should have eaten something that isn't candy anyway, because I had some Mike and Ike's before the stream, but that's not really going to do much. All the time Dylan made, he seems to have lost. I can't imagine his tires are going off already, because I'm sure they're both on the primaries. And those will probably last you 20 or so laps, so I'm not really sure. I guess Dylan just used up his stuff. Or maybe AJ is pushing now to get away. Past the 2/3 mark of this race. Only 14 laps to go in the ARC IndyCar Championship. AJ leads the race, but none of that matters because Dylan Bam is in second place, and all he needs is a podium for the title. And Jurgensmeyer's chances are pretty much getting crushed as we speak, because at this point, Dylan Bam is so far ahead of a lot of the field that even if he made a mistake and had to make a pit stop for damage or something along the way, he would probably still be in 5th. Or higher. Actually, probably higher, by the looks of it. He has no answer for AJ Knickel at the current moment, but part of me reckons he doesn't need it. And part of me, most of me. In general, he doesn't need to get ahead of AJ. He can sit his happy little behind where he is. Lay back in my chair. Because that's totally a good idea when I'm already really drowsy, is to get comfortable in my chair. Yep. There we see Luis Ramirez clearing the way, making sure not to inhibit these two, because a lap car damaging another car would derail this whole thing. And we learned pretty early on in the race, Ramirez was pretty good at damaging cars he wasn't trying to damage, so... The gap went from maintaining at about less than a second to now being maintained at around 1.5. Oh, AJ has glut some time ago. I believe he may have made a mistake in the kink or the cork cell. What is that? The corkscrew. There's no carousel here. It's like we're not at Suzuka. Man, I'm somewhere. I'm clearly in Japan right now. I'm like watching the Japanese Grand Prix. No Riker. That's next week. Well, I guess this week. It's Monday. But regardless, that's not where we are. But anyway, yeah. I'm not kidding either. I am actually going to type out, not write down, type out my, my interview questions, because as you can clearly tell, my brain is very foggy right now, and I feel like I'll probably forget them. I feel like I really shouldn't be writing these down right now, because at any second AJ can make another slight slip up, or Dylan could find an extra % of pace, and suddenly we're looking at a battle for the lead that I'm just not calling because I'm sitting here typing. Oh, Dylan Bam is... he's got some dirt on his tires. I don't think that's not a thing in this game. That's a thing in the F1 games, not this. Now the gap is maintaining at less than half a second, roughly, or thereabouts. We'll see if Dylan Bam does the good old hashtag save the commentator here in a minute. We'll also see if the lap car up there gets in the way. Based on my estimation, that is probably Jamie Wright for the second, or put a second lap down in a minute. I also just realized that my questions that I am writing down don't work unless the top 3 finish in a certain way. Oh, Dylan's burning his push to pass. He does indeed want to get this pass done on the racetrack. He is going to try and save the commentator here. Yeah, I can't quite write these down right now, because finishing order is currently subject to change if Dylan Bam can put the moves on Knickel and win the race. Or they might battle, and I could just ask about that instead of ask the question I'm planning to ask, so... yeah, we'll just have to hold off on that, and by we I mean I don't know why I'm pluralizing that. AJ's made some space again. It's just been a bit of tug of war here at the front. Dylan gives a little, and then he takes a little, and then he gives back a little, and then he takes it a little closer, and that last lap was the closest he'd ever been, even using a push to pass to try and get it done, but it just... he can't confirm it. Laguna Seca has been historically known not to be an easy passing zone, or an easy track to pass at, which is why it invites so many egregious dive bombs, which we haven't seen many of, but that's probably just because of how few cars are even on the racetrack at all. Jamie Wright has retired the race car. I just saw that on the race feed in the corner. And also saw then the fact that there are only now 6 cars on the racetrack. So at this point, Jurgensmeyer's basically out of the championship. Because even if, yeah, now he literally is. Because Luis Ramirez retires the car. So now, even if Dylan came last of the running vehicles, it wouldn't matter. At least not for Jurgensmeyer. Because that still wouldn't be enough to give him the points lead. Plus, AJ would be winning the race and beating him anyway, by the looks of it, so. Even if we have Sonoma round 2, which I wouldn't want to wish that, but at the same time I would at least, you know, oh, we're not going to get a darn thing, Dylan Bam is going to run off the racetrack completely. He is trying his darndest to fumble. He can still lose the championship, even if not to Jurgensmeyer. So he needs to not do that again. Oh yeah, Dylan seems to really be a bit of a wounded beast right now. He's kind of coasting around the track. I'm not sure if that's because of just how much the damage has slowed down his car, or if perhaps he's struggling with overheating or possibly with fuel. That 1 second penalty is not going to mean a darn thing. I think he's concerned about his fuel. Which, I mean, he's also using a push to pass, so I don't know. I'm not really sure if fuel is the concern, which it shouldn't be. There's 4 laps to go, so. Oh, Dylan's around. He's fumbling, but oh, he's really fumbling now. He's overcorrected. Now his tires are probably cooked. He's lucky he's still got some 20 seconds away from Jurgensmeyer. Louise is like making commentary on what is this, like my 4th race in a row where I've basically commentated mostly dull air or dead air, I mean. Like, what is there to be excited about here? There's 5 cars on the track and 2 of them are in the same sector. And they're on, I think, different laps. Yes. Kyler Boggs is around. Actually, no. Jurgen and Fabian are on the same lap. But I don't think they're going to be battling anytime soon. And Kyler Boggs is around. He's also in the same part of the racetrack, but... this is now the closest thing to resembling a battle for position on the circuit. I just read definitely a sentence in a messenger chat. Was Kyler around again? Yes. Yes, he was. I just heard the engine noises and I'm like, that doesn't sound like somebody exiting a corkscrew. No, it certainly was not. Nickel picks up a bit of sand as he begins his final tour around the race circuit. He will get no championship, but with 21-second lead in hand, he should be able to get a win. Fidel is pitting, which is interesting. As confusion of Fidel's pit stop aside, maybe lack of fuel. Oh yeah, that would be what it is. AJ Nickel heads through the final turn here at Laguna Seca. He won yesterday, he won one of the 2 rounds there. And he is going to win here from Laguna Seca. But none of that matters in the grand scheme of things. He's making his way down the iconic corkscrew very slowly as he does so. Dylan Bam has just 2 more corners to make. And man, is he taking them at his own pace. And he's waving the wheel, he's celebrating in that cockpit. Some impromptu donuts while we're at it. Oh, look at this. Probably the best show the fans got all day, honestly. Dylan Bam is your ARC Indycar champion with 3 tires. Jurgensmeyer takes 3rd place both on the track and in the title. And this time, Fidel Fabian has converted to 4th. Kyler Boggs also places 5th. And that will wrap things up here. Let's see if I can figure out PlayStation's amazing new party system that they changed for zero reason to get our podium finishers into this chat here. I have forgotten the alphabet. I can't even invite Dylan anyway because he's not on my friends list. How did I not do that? Or is he appearing offline? No, because he wouldn't have gotten invited if that were the case. Okay, no, I'm just an idiot and I don't have him added. Alright. Okay. but the broadcasters party. But they've roughly got it figured out. I don't know why they had to change the party system for the 4th time. Nope. Some technical difficulties while we're at it, why not? Oh, even more. Can Nicholas? I think they both probably have to reset their PlayStations to get in here by the sounds of it, so. Oh, brother. I don't know. Actually, no. I'd probably get interviews with you in, since you got 3rd anyway, while we wait for those two to get the PlayStation to work for them. Well, actually, that was a lot faster than I expected. I think Dylan's having the same problem. I think he's probably having to do the same thing you are, or did.
Is it because this isn't the broadcaster's party and it's like your own party?
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't work anymore because they changed the party system.
No, you just did it wrong. You have to go in through the messages and just join.
Oh, why did they move that around? Stupid.
I don't know. It is dumb. Yeah. I'll just tell Dylan to reset his PlayStation. Oh, he's
Well, you already did. Alright, so now with all 3 finally here, well, I wrap my head around this brand new party system. We'll start with our 3rd overall finisher and 3rd overall in the championship, Mr. Jurgensmeyer. And obviously it just said P3 overall. When the year began, did you think you'd ever get this far, as it were? Why is this man here?
It's somewhat interesting.
You're gonna. What are we doing? What's the question? Just keep the question going, right here.
When this year began, Jurg, did you think you'd ever get this close to an AACC title, competing for it at the last race?
Definitely not. I mean, before Indycar, I've only been in ARC on project cars in 2 different series, and one was supercars where I was the worst driver on the field, and GT3 I was the worst Mercedes car. So, I mean, I went into the season thinking that I could definitely be more competitive. I didn't think I'd be this competitive, or I'd have my best ARC season, 3 wins. It's and a whole lot of podiums. It's way more than I would have expected. But I mean, it's taken a lot. A lot of guys helped along the way. Travis at the beginning of the season, he was pushing all the guys to run better, and we had a really good first half of the season, all of us. But I mean, altogether, I'm just happy to be here. Dylan deserved the championship. He probably should have had the title clinched already if he didn't have bad luck in other races. AJ, he had a good season at the end too. He really turned it on at the end of the season. So I mean, 3rd I think was definitely the best I could have got. There was definitely some races that I lost points, but I mean, overall 3rd is, I think, really good for how the season went.
I suppose it applies to all 3 of you, really. Angel will be the first to tell you how miserable the first half of his season was. And then speaking of, Jurg's set to run for 44R next season. What are your goals going into that organization? Are you trying to just kind of maintain what you've done here, or are you going to try and beat the teacher, as it were?
I don't know. I think it's gonna be a really close season. We're all we're all really close on pace. I think we all have elements that we're better at, so it's gonna be a fun season. We're gonna push each other, all be better, which I mean I'm excited for. I mean, it's gonna be a fun time next season with those guys because they put a lot of work into what they do. I mean, I know everyone goes out there, puts in work, but
Not
they go
everyone.
above and beyond. So it's gonna be fun.
I feel like pretty soon somebody's gonna be running one of those articles about 44-hour dominance could turn spectators away from the sport. And move on to. I'm actually gonna go in auto order. I'm gonna do with the race winner and then the championship winner last. AJ wins the race, but no title. Is that bittersweet at all for you, or is just the race win satisfying enough and just look to whatever's next?
I mean, yeah, because you can go back and you can look through like all the moments in the season and go, if this would have been different and this would have been different, I would have locked out the championship. If I wouldn't have made the mistakes at Texas in both of those races, this would be a completely different story. And I mean, you can go back through the entire season, but in all honesty, I'm content. I mean, we really, I think it was probably 6 races to go or something. The championship leader at that point was a little cocky, and at that point I was a little frustrated, and we just turned up the burners and got as close to as I possibly could to a championship. And I mean, I can't really be disappointed with it. I went out and I did everything I could have done tonight and more, and it just wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it sometimes can just hurt to look back at all that, but like I said, that applies to everybody. Everybody had races where they won or lost the championship.
It's true, we all have the same 17 races and the same circumstances, so, I mean, some things are out of your control, and that's just what it comes down to.
I can assure you wouldn't have had a championship battle in this race if Dylan's own Texas went differently. So
yeah, thankfully the Texas races that I made mistakes in, there were also a lot of races he made mistakes in, and I think that's why the championship from, 4th on down was even as close as they were. I mean, Jurg probably would have been there regardless. I think if Travis and Stotts would have continued to show up, they probably would have been up there too, but it really was a championship that was a lot closer than it probably should have been, and I think going into next season, we know who the top 3 are probably going to be. I think Travis and Stotts, should they choose to continue for 2024, are going to end up back near the front, and we will we'll have another good 5-way fight for it.
And then, put that out of the way, our championship winner, Dylan Bam, wins the title. Looks like he wanted the race, too. I believe this is what we consider your first premier championship win, because I think that most of the championships we've won thus far, supercars, are just kind of not kind of in between type series to get in to the bigger ones later. Unless I'm wrong on that, I'm forgetting what championships we've won.
I mean, I'm gonna say, is ATCC not a major championship, Riker?
I would consider touring cars to be a major championship, but that's just me.
So I didn't remember him winning that one. Or no, actually I just assumed Red won all the Gran Turismo stuff.
No, he's actually won that one twice now.
Okay, I'm just a dumbass. I'm just a dunce. It's a lot easier to just remember when you just have 2 championships like I do, instead of 15 like AJ does. Even still, this is probably the biggest one. How different does it feel from your other however many you've scored thus far?
I mean, it feels awesome, okay, don't get me wrong, but it just feels that much better knowing what happened 12 months ago around this time, or whatever the last Indycar season was, okay? To be honest, I lose track of time around here, so
I feel that.
Remember when that ended, but yeah, that season ended in absolute calamity. So to make up for that with what I dubbed the Champion Revenge Tour. It kind of lived up to its name. Not really. I didn't win like 75% of the races like I hoped for, but we got it done in the end, albeit through chaos and everyone having troubles and mishaps and incidents at some point. But yeah, it feels good to get this one checked off the list, and we can look on to bigger and better things from here.
Yeah, it sounds about fair. You know, I say you can never dwell on success for too long, really, Riker, because you're still stuck on your 2017 championship. But what is the next thing in line for Project Cars anyway? Would that be touring cars again, or is that moved?
Prototype challenge starts next week, I believe.
Oh, so that won't be 3. So that's probably what I consider a filler series.
Yeah, you got the prototype challenge, and then supercars coming up, and then after that we're back to GT3 in 2024.
So I'd probably call that the next big name Project Cars title. I don't know if I'd really call supercars or the other thing that prototypes. You really just said it. Oh God, I need a nap. Obviously, that's not going to work at 7:30. Yeah. So if that's next week, presumably on Monday. I think Thursday races are no longer Project Cars, if I'm not mistaken. But that is going to do it for the IndyCar Championship. It's been a wild ride, and probably the first championship in a while I think I've streamed every race of. I might have missed one. That's, I think, it. But, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here next week. It makes me like a stand-up comedian. I'll be here all week. But, until then, shout out to the sponsors of AutoRacingConnected, to DIVEBOMB, the title sponsor of the league. They, oh my God, I'm too drowsy for this crap. DIVEBOMB, they do motorsports news, different articles they write on their many pages, everything from their website to their Instagram and Twitter pages, I'm sure. I say I'm sure, I don't have Twitter, that's why I say that. Go look, because I don't have one. They have most of the motorsports the world over covered as far as keeping up to date on what's happening. Sim League Pro, the forum / website that keeps ARC pretty much running. We use it to recruit, to schedule races, and to keep the stats tracked for the races. And drivers can find ARC or whatever else they might be looking for on the forum pages on there. The Burning Rubber podcast, which I believe the sponsorship just ended for that at the end of the year. Not mistaken. But that is the podcast run by most of the people in like the JSR and Congo Line group, that sub-community of ARC. They interview sort of smaller talents from the American motorsports world, namely oval racing and dirt racing, but sometimes IMSA as well. Or also any race near the West Coast. James McAdam, who allows ARC to through our partnership with him, to use his screenshots and in-game photography to promote ARC on the social media sites that we are on, and AJ Knickel Design, the design firm run by our own league owner, to design those posts that promote the league on those sites. That is it for me. As you can tell, I'm basically half awake at this point. Next week we have the ARC Prototype series. Later on this week we'll also have, of course, the full weekend's worth of F1 races and GT7 action. But that will be That will not involve me. Well, I'll be racing on Sunday, but you know how it is. But until then, farewell.